Welcome to Tiki Talk, the podcast, with your host, Kevin, aka Shipnut. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Tiki Talk, the podcast. My name is Kevin. I am your host. Today we have a special guest with us today. We have Joe Marcotte from Marcotte Distilling, the maker of, in my opinion, the best moonshine products out there. I mean, I've got a mighty good collection of Marcotte right here, and man, I just can't find anything that I don't like. So without further ado, let me introduce you to our guest, Joe Marcotte. Joe, welcome to Tiki Talk, the podcast. How are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thanks for being on. Now, what's it like out there in Oregon today? I know you're on the other side of the country.
Yes,
me in
probably
Florida.
feels like another world sometimes. We're into fall now. It started raining about a week ago, and I think we've got about 4 to 6 inches in the last 5 days. So we're getting into fall now.
Yeah, but I miss the fall. Here in Florida, we don't get that. We get hot and maybe not so hot. But we don't have the fall.
When I talk to some of you guys online, we're like, "Oh yeah, fall's coming." And the people in Texas or California, they're like, "Oh, really?" And oh yeah, I forget you guys don't really get seasons in some of these places.
No, we don't have the seasons, but it's all good. It's the price you pay to live in paradise, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Joe, I know we've talked before. You were on my Facebook live one day, and we had a great conversation there. Now we're on the podcast. I started this up, so we're going to go back to what we talked about on our Facebook the first time. We're going to get a little background of you and, what you did beforehand and how we got into the moonshine business. So, give us a little background of what you did before you got into the moonshine.
Oh boy. Before this, my wife and I owned a trucking company. I started trucking right out of the military. And so then in my early 20s, went back to college, got a degree. And then during, 08 and 09, when we had that recession, I ended up losing my engineering job. So I told my wife, I was like, I think we should start a trucking company. And I'd never trucked in the time that her and I had been together. So she didn't really know that I was in trucking all that much. So I said, "Yeah, I think we're going to do it." And she's like, okay. So anyway, long story short, we had that trucking company for about 8 or 9 years. And so when we started having young kids, it became difficult on my family. So politely, she asked me to get out of the trucking industry. So I did.
Well,
And what's that?
I bet. I mean, that has to be when you got little ones around. You're not home because you're trucking, so I can see how that happens for sure.
Well, and I was home every night, but I was getting up about 2 o'clock in the morning to start my day. So if I didn't get a nap or didn't go to bed early, I was kind of a bugger, and I couldn't help with the kids at night. So yeah, there was a lot of background to that
Yeah,
company. I had always dreamed of having a trucking company growing up,
yeah.
and so yeah, that was kind of a bummer for me. But we moved on and did something different.
Well, you've did a total 180 from trucking.
Yes.
For sure. Now, what made you want to get into distilling moonshine and stuff like that? What was there a passion there, or did you not? There's something that had to be there for you to want to be into making moonshine.
Well, so after we sold the trucking company, I had flipped a couple of houses with a friend of mine and kind of bummed around a little bit. And one day, Janelle came up to me and says, "You're going to have to figure out what you're going to do with your life." So about a week later, I woke up one day and almost as if I had a dream that this was the direction I wanted to go in. And I said, I want to make alcohol. And she said, what? Gave me a funny look. And I said, I want to make alcohol. And she said, you're kidding. I said, no. I said, I want to make alcohol. She goes, what kind? Like, do you even know what you want to make? I said, flavored moonshine. She said, have you ever tried it? And I said, no, I don't really need to. I'll learn how to make it. And we'll make it better than everybody else is doing. And we'll just go from there. She thought I was crazy. Um, but fortunately, here we are almost 5 years later.
Wow. Yeah. Stephanie Elaine says, my faves on Facebook. Mine too, Stephanie, for sure. So you didn't know how to make moonshine. You never tried it, but you went in full force to get going on moonshine. But did you think, because moonshine has a stigma of being melt your face off and real potent and stuff like that, which I can tell you that this is not. You've this is beautiful stuff. So what did you think about when you started the moonshine? You must have had like a batch that was like, ooh, that's a little strong. Let me rethink what I'm doing here.
So when we first got started, I will tell you the honest truth. When we first got started and we started making it, we actually built a what we call a still shed in our backyard, which is actually now a chicken coop. But we ended up building a still shed and we took a shot at corn whiskey, like Tennessee Hills corn whiskey. And when we first tried it, we thought we had messed up because we had never tried it before. We didn't really know what we were doing, so we tried it. We're like, oh my god, we messed up.
Yeah.
And so then I got very discouraged, and my wife ended up surprising me with a trip to Tennessee. So we ended up realizing that that batch we made wasn't a mess up, that that's the way it was supposed to taste. So we had to kind of rethink our inks because here in Oregon, we like to drink flavored coffee and flavored beer and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
people around here were not going to drink that stuff that we were making. So long story short, we had to kind of reinvent our recipe to make it work.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job because what I have. I've had almost every flavor that you have out on CW Spirits because full disclosure, I'm an ambassador for CW Spirits and I've had almost every flavor that you've released. And we're going to get into the new stuff that you just came out with not too long ago in a little bit. And for moonshine, it is super, super smooth. Every flavor that I've tried has been spot on with what the description is, and I love this stuff. I can't say anything much more than that. Um, so, what was your favorite part about starting Marcotte Distilling?
That my wife and I got along when we did it.
Well, that's important.
That no, that we were able to. It was different than trucking. We were able to have our kids with us,
Yeah.
obviously not drinking with us, but we were able to do this as a family of sorts.
So,
And
so the
so,
whole family's involved with, you guys with this business. So the kids, do you let them help you like put the bottles in the boxes and tape the boxes and stuff? Like they help, you know.
oh yeah, so every Friday and Saturday they have a half day of school, so
Mm-hmm.
they get out about the same time we start. So our kids are 8, 9, 10, and every Friday they help stock shelves. And then if we have a cocktail weekend, they end up picking up cups and garbage and stuff like that and
Very
asking
good.
people if they want chips. And so a lot of times they end up making more money than we do on tips for picking up cups and garbage.
That's awesome though. Just the story of your whole family's involved with this. That's fantastic. I love hearing that. You got the kids involved. You guys are truly involved in the whole process. And that's small business right there, and that's what I love about it.
Well, and truth be told, we actually, so me and Janelle, our three kids, work together every Friday and Saturday. And I actually, my mom was in business pretty much my whole life until about 10 years ago when she retired. And so I brought her out of retirement to come do tastings and to come help on cocktail Saturdays. So she'll tell you she's a better salesman than me, but don't listen to her.
that's that's awesome, man. You got mom involved and everything. That's a great business right there. It's a small business, and but you guys being small business, you have to focus on quality more than quantity, right? Just because you're smaller than the big corporate conglomerates out there, so you really have to make your product pop and shine, and it has to have great quality. Would you agree?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's been kind of a tricky road for us, trying to take our product, that everybody here loves and everybody on CWS loves and all the influencers, all their followers. And it's hard to equate that, right? To get bigger, right? You have to be big to get noticed, but you don't get big until you get noticed.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's been kind of a tricky road for us because we knew this product was really good, but it's been kind of a tricky road for us sometimes.
Well, I have your French vanilla sweet cream, and it's good because every time I go on CW Spirits to order it,
Mm,
we're out of stock because it's just flying out of there. You know what I mean? It,
that is,
it is flying out of CW Spirits. So, get it while you can. Because, I mean, I know you restock often, but this is, I think, every time I go on CW Spirits, this is like not many left. You better grab it now.
well, that's been one of those products. It's our best selling product we have in our shop, in our retail. And so it's obviously a good seller at CWS. And so it's kind of tricky to maintain the conversation all the way through the process, right? I reach out and I say, all right, let me know if you're getting close. And, there's numerous people in the process that have to tell Lonnie to get to me.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, the before you know it, you're like, oh yeah, no, we've got 5, 10 cases. We're good. And then you turn around and somebody just did a video with your product. And then it's like, boom, stock out. So we're like, oh shoot.
All right. Vintage Distilling has joined us, and Sylvia says, "I feel that." LOL with the small business right there. So welcome, Vintage Distilling. I had her on last week. Great people there too. So how did you come up with? I'm gonna say like Baskin Robbins. You have so many flavors of moonshine. How did you come up with the ones that you wanted to produce?
Well, we've tried to stay pretty traditional. The cherries, the peaches, the peach whiskey, the caramel. We haven't really got much out of our realm. Most everything we do, and I know that some are not traditional. There's a lot of, like a blackberry cobbler and stuff. I mean, it's a traditional flavor, but, we've just tried to stay traditional to what we think people would like or what they can do the most with. For example, I had a conversation last week with somebody from Texas, and they were talking about, well, how do you maintain those SKUs? How like how do you what do you get rid of? And I said we've literally gotten rid of nothing. I said if we have a product that's not selling, then it's our job to figure out what to do with that product. Like for example, cherry for a long time wasn't selling for
Mm-hmm.
us. Now, mind you, I love that product. I put it with Seven Up and lime,
Yeah.
but before we started doing cocktails, people would taste it and be like, "Yeah, that's maraschino, but I don't know what I'd do with it." So we started doing cocktails to promote that. So now you can do chocolate and vanilla, you can do chocolate and cherry, you can do Seven Up and lime, you can do lemonade. So we just went out and tried to figure out things to do with those flavors. So
Yeah.
we kind of build flavors that are traditionally useful in cocktails, essentially.
Now you guys do cocktails every week. in house, right? And you do them online. I see Janelle online making cocktails every week on like
Yes,
Facebook and TikTok and everything else. But you guys also have a tasting room at your distillery.
yes. So we do have a tasting room open every Friday and Saturday. My friends make fun of me because I only work 2 days a week, but that's not true. I do the rest of the stuff the rest of the time. And so anyway, long story short, yes, we do cocktails twice a month, and it's exhausting because there are times, that we will, in a 6-hour period, we'll make 350 cocktails. So we
Wow.
are just slammed. And we do
Jeez.
pulled pork. So we start smoking the pork on Friday night. We get up in the middle of the night, we wrap the pork. And so our customers are pretty important, or else we probably wouldn't do half the stuff we do.
So you do the pulled pork yourself too?
Yes. So, well,
Jeez.
my wife will tell you she does it, but I try to help a little bit.
Well, they're always right, Joe. They're always right.
She just said she's better at figuring out seasonings than I am, so I let her have that.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. I hear that. Now, your base is all the same, right? For the flavors, except for the creams and the other stuff. But for the moonshine itself, your base is all the same. Is it corn
It,
base or sugar base or
yeah, so basically what it is it's basically a corn whiskey, unaged corn whiskey. So how that works is, as I told you in the beginning, we were doing old school corn whiskey, and we
mm-hmm.
basically use the exact same recipe as when we started, which is a high corn barley on the back end. No sugar, no anything like that. We make it all work with the grain,
Wow.
and then we distill it. We run it through the still 4 times. So it's an 8 plate still that we run through 4 times, and it ends up coming out about 32 times distilled. Um,
So
so
that
if you
gives
were
it
taste
its smoothness.
correct, and so you end up, if you taste the base product, you're going to get that sweet corn in there. So the base product is named after my grandma Ella, who used to love vodka, and I know that she would love this product if she ever got a chance to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, what that ends up becoming is kind of like a sweet corn liquor, essentially. So when you
Okay.
add to it, the sweet corn that you taste when you taste it by itself ends up adding to the flavor.
Okay. All right. So that's how you get it, and then you get the flavors. Now, everything you have. Now, I know the answer to this, but my listeners don't. Everything you have a name in front of it, like
Yes.
Reese's French vanilla, and all of them. Because I'm inside of my studio right now. I'm not out in the tiki bar, so I only brought a couple things in. But every product has a name on it. How did you come up with that, and what's the meaning behind that?
So in the very beginning, we had made friends with people in the industry before we actually started doing what we're doing. And so they had told us, they said, if you're going to make it in this market, you've got to have, in this industry, you've got to have a niche, right? You got to find something that makes you unique to you. And there's a lot of times I don't think enough people actually find that niche. And so for
Yeah,
us, we made it very clear what that niche is. And sorry about that, my email.
that's all right.
That niche was going to be to let people know that to be a part of our family, essentially. So we decided that on each bottle we were going to name it after somebody that is either part of our life who has passed away, or has been very important to us along the way. And so
Okay.
to kind of explain, kind of who we are and where we come from, and how family and friends are very important to us.
All right. So it's just family, friends, people that are important to you. You put their name on the label, and that's kind of paying homage to those people. That here's your thing named after you. That's
Right. Well,
awesome.
and I think too, sometimes people will come in and they will be interested or buy a product for somebody they know that has the same name.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
So the dual purpose.
Right. So, like for example, I didn't know this, but there are a lot of people named Dale, and so Dale's butterscotch
Hmm.
ends up being bought a lot for guys named Dale.
Wow. That's awesome.
So that
Stephanie's,
wasn't the original intent, but that's what ended up working out.
well, hey, if it worked out, it worked out. Stephanie said, and a little story about them. Yeah, in the
Correct.
names on the
Yeah.
bottle. So that's awesome. That is
Well, and
truly awesome.
most of those people too, mean a lot to us. So, right, like we wanted to pay a little honor to them and to let people know, kind of where we came from.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, playing with your moonshine alone, I've been able to mix so many different flavors together. So is it designed to be able to mix together to make different cocktails using multiple flavors? Because I've done it and it's amazing. And I know you gave me a recipe for a moonshine pina colada, which was chef's kiss. Uh, and I have that posted on my social media. But did you design the product initially to be combined with each other to make different cocktails, or?
Truth be told, no. So when we started, I think by the time we started to get into creams, we had 10 or 12 moonshine. And so we had told ourselves that we're going to wait 2 years to do cream and to make sure we didn't fall on our face because cream was kind of an expensive venture to get into. So we originally made cream, the chocolate, the vanilla, and stuff to go into coffee. And
Mm-hmm.
then once we did, people would come in and like, oh man, you can take the vanilla and you can put it with, you can put it with butterscotch or you can put it with cherry. And we're like, oh yeah, duh. And then we started realizing that you could take the cream and do a ton of things with it. And you could do Italian sodas, and then you could take the raspberry and put it with the pineapple and the mule, and you could take the raspberry and put it in a pineapple with a pina colada. And you could take the raspberry and the pineapple and you could put it together, an Italian soda. And so we realized that we sat down one day and we didn't map out every single cocktail. We had a group of us after cocktails one night that figured we could probably, with very minimal additions, either a one or a
Yeah.
two add, we could do over 1,000 cocktails with our products, using our products together with, say, a club soda, a 7 Up, and things that are a margarita mix, cock and
Yeah.
bull beer or ginger beer. So you could do a ton of things with just very minimal mixers.
That's that's incredible that it worked out that way when you didn't think it was going to work out that way.
Yeah.
But it's true because I've done so many things with it, um, and I love them all. Now the creams that obviously that's expensive because you got to get the cream in and stuff like that. But you've nailed it with the creams. I they're so good. Now
Well, and oh, go ahead.
I have personally I have the chocolate, the brown sugar cream, and the vanilla. I haven't had the other ones yet, which I got to get on there and order them. But that those are the ones I have, and they are absolutely the best. And everyone that I've had try them are like, this is it. I mean, I gave my sister a bottle when I went up north, and she knocked that out in no time. She's like, I gotta go get more. I'm like, yes, you do. Now,
Well, oh, go ahead.
how was that venture to get into? Was it difficult to start with the creams and like to get the right mix together, or?
So the tricky part about some of the things we've done, so the cream was tricky for us because the cream takes about 2 days for it to set up and get to the final flavor. So when we first started messing with that stuff, we'd have to make it, sit it, come back to it, make it, sit it, come back to it. And so it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of wasted time
Wow.
waiting for the product to seat together before we could move on. Some of them came pretty easy. The vanilla was pretty easy, and so the caramel's a little trickier. There's a few more parts to that. The
Yeah.
raspberry has a few more parts, and so it's been kind of a godsend for us to have that cream because it was expensive to get into, but that was only because we had a lot of trial and error,
Yeah.
and the product, when you buy a product that you're not used to buying, that's now we look back and we say, oh yeah, let's order cream all day, right? We
Yeah.
can sell it, but it was a tricky venture to get into because we didn't know what it would do.
Yeah.
And like I said, we originally made it for coffee. So when people are like, "Oh, you can do this, this, and that," I'm like, "No, no." Like in my mind, I made it for coffee, and so so anyway, yes, the cream has been awesome for us. We can do so much stuff with the cream.
Now, tell me your story because I love it that you made the cream for coffee and the first time you had it,
Oh, yeah.
what happened?
So yeah, so that was a kind of a dumb butt move on my part. So I'm used to at that point I was used to drinking cream from the store. So when my wife and I make coffee, you put your cream in the cup, you pour your coffee, and everything stirs around, everything's good, and everything's fine. So we had brought vanilla home. We always like to test drive stuff when we first make it. Lemonade. Um, that's a whole nother funny story that happened. But so we had brought vanilla home,
Yeah.
and I went to put in my cup, just like you do from the stuff at the store. And I went to take a drink, and I looked at my wife and I said, "Oh my God, we just wasted all of our time and money. This product sucks." And she goes, "What?" And so she looked at me and then looked at my cup and said, "Stir it up, dummy." And so we have one of those little whisper things, like one Pike uses
Oh
to
yeah.
stir up his stuff. So fortunately, we had one of those, and she put it in there and she stirred it up, and I said, "Oh, thank God," because I thought we just missed big time on this product.
You absolutely did not miss for sure.
Yes. So fortunately, right, it goes into hot coffee and does a bunch of other things. And so
Yeah.
yes, that was so now moving forward, if I ever talk to people about it, I always say, don't forget to stir your coffee
Yeah.
when you put it in there.
Yeah. Like I use the sweet cream, the vanilla sweet cream, like in a frozen drink instead of ice cream because to me it tastes vanilla ice cream all day long. So instead of buying ice cream, I put the sweet cream vanilla in there, and my frozen cocktails come out perfect when I do it. Just
Well,
ice and the sweet cream.
there have been a couple of our products that we have put together the flavor wise that have stopped me in my tracks, and like I remember everything about that moment at that time. And so vanilla for me was one of those that kind of made my heart beat off pace because it reminded me of my grandma. And when I was a kid, my
Really?
grandma used to make homemade ice cream, and she would load the heck out of that thing with vanilla flavoring. So when you would drink it, it reminded me of the French vanilla cream because it tasted, and so like that moment in time took me right back to childhood in those times when my grandma would make me ice cream. And so I was like, that's it. We're not going anywhere else. This is the flavor. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah, because
And
you
without,
knew right then.
yeah,
This is grandma's ice cream right here, and
right,
this is where it's going to stay, which is
right. And
it's
so,
awesome.
yeah. So, yeah, that stopped me dead in my tracks. And I looked at Janelle. I'm like, we're done with this one because this is exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, well, all the creams are delicious. All the moonshine's delicious. Now you also have whiskey out there too. You have some flavors available on CW. Not all of them. You're holding back a little, Joe. But my favorite, that peach whiskey. Oh my. I absolutely love it. I think I'm on bottle 5. I love that peach whiskey. It's my go-to when I just want a cocktail, a nice sipper. Man, is that good. So you got the whiskeys out there and everything else. How did you come about the whiskey? Did you like hey, we're making a whiskey base. Let's do the whiskey, or how did you? Was that first before the moonshine or after?
No, no, the whiskey. We have the whiskey custom made for us, and we do it in a hybrid aging process. So people are always like, "Oh, you don't do your whiskey," and I said, "Well, it's a 5-year aged rye whiskey, and had we been doing that on our own, we would just now be opening barrels of when we started." And so whiskey for people doing flavors, it's kind of really tricky. We do have our own aged whiskey that we do in barrels at our shop. But we went with a custom made one for this project just because we were trying to hit a certain time frame to be able to keep
Yeah,
rolling over. And so I'm not sure how the process works. I kind of have an idea, but obviously they're not going to tell you how to super age it,
yeah.
how to age it timely.
Mm-hmm.
So so the reason why we started doing those products, and so if you look at our original whiskeys, it was caramel and peach.
Yeah.
And it was because we would get people into our shop constantly. Oh, do you guys do a caramel or a peach whiskey? I love Crown Royal. I can never find it. So we're like, oh, so we had numerous times of this. And so finally I looked at Janelle and I was like, you know what? Why don't we just take a shot at this? Right? Like, let's just take a shot. What so we and I hate to tell you this story, but we went down to the liquor store and all we could find was the little airplane bottles. They come in like a Christmas variety pack and they're little airplane bottles, and
Yeah.
that was all we could find. So we bought one of those things and we honestly took Crown Royal, those little bottles, and we made it until we thought ours tasted better and then said, good, let's put it in the bottle.
Wow.
So so that was another one too. We were talking earlier about the cream, how you have to let it sit for a couple days. Well, the whiskey is a 2-week sit. So it took us 6 months to get the whiskey to taste right because you'd make it, sit it for 2 weeks, and then be like, oh no, that's not right. Make it, sit it for 2 weeks. Nope, that's not
Oh,
right either.
wow. So that's a
So
long, lengthy process to get it right the first
correct.
time. Yeah.
And just for your information too, a lot of flavored whiskeys on the market have the bare minimum of whiskey in them
Mm-hmm.
just to call them a whiskey. So we have 50% of our product is a whiskey. That means all the liquid, the sugar, the water, and the alcohol. 50% of it is whiskey, and then the other part of the alcohol is Silver Moon, which is our moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
So just for the record, in case you ever get asked, 50% of our whiskey is actual whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll find a lot of the other people who are making flavored stuff. It's like the bare minimum is five,
Yeah.
which, in my opinion, you can't even taste it at that point. But
Well,
so yeah,
I got it pulled up right here on your website. You got the brown sugar whiskey, the naked rye, the copper moon, the caramel, and the peach, which I can
so
say
the
is delicious.
Copper Moon is the one we do in house.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the rye is the one that is made for the flavored whiskey, and then obviously, and we're trying to figure out a couple more flavored whiskeys. So that's in the hopper to
Mm-hmm.
maybe get 2 to 4 more whiskeys just to add in
Wow.
there.
Okay.
But we don't know. Things, every day changes. So, well, we think, we've taken a lot of shot at flavored whiskeys that we thought would be good, like taking our pralines
Yeah.
from our cream products and putting that in a whiskey, and we tried that, and we are like, oh, that's not very good. And so we found our best luck has been on the more kind of rich flavors like the
Yeah.
caramel and the butter brown sugar.
Yeah.
And the peach is a nectar flavor, so it's kind of a more rich type peach flavor.
Oh, it's super
So
rich peach flavor. Yeah. It's not like a hint of peach. I bit into a peach right now. That's what that's
yeah.
what I get.
Well, and that was our goal with that was to we actually have a peach moonshine and we put that in then the first round we used our Saturn peach that we use in the moonshine for the whiskey and we're like, no, that's just not it. So then we grabbed a couple more peach flavors from our flavor company and kind of went through those. And then we got to the nectar peach and we are like, oh my God, that's it. Has to be. That's it.
All right.
So,
So I have the website right here. Look at all these flavors of moonshine now. Salted caramel, Amy Jo's strawberry lemonade, Ashley's cotton candy, Bo's blueberry crumble, all of them. The spicy cinnamon, oh, I love it. The pumpkin spice. I mean, just so many flavors. The silver moon, that's your base, correct?
correct.
All right.
Yep.
And then the pineapple crush tastes like fresh pineapples. The cup of Joe, the coffee, the watermelon, the root beer. Look at all this deliciousness. There's the Saturn Peach, Macy's Saturn Peach. Joe, it's wizardry. How many you have and how many I can't get yet.
Right. Well, uh, not to give away too much information, but
Yeah.
I spent the morning finishing up a pallet to go down to CWS early next week that will have some brand new flavors on it.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait because right now, here you go. I got, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold on. Here we go. Let me pull it up, Joe. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to show you what we have access to. Um, if you go to my website, cwspirits.com, I'm going to get Marcotte's up here. Everything you need is right here. Here on the website, CW Spirits. You you got a ton of flavors at CW, which are awesome. I mean, we even have like 3 packs and stuff like that that go all together. So definitely get on to CW Spirits and get you some Marcotte Distilling because it's delicious and you're gonna want more for sure.
Okay, fine. I'm not good at keeping secrets. You want to know what I put on the pallet?
Oh, we're gonna get an insider information. Yes. All
I,
right.
I'm sure Lonnie wouldn't mind.
Nah.
Uh, so we are sending pumpkin moonshine and pumpkin cream.
Oh,
We are
that's
sending blackberry cobbler cream.
ah.
So that one is actually, so we originally did that in moonshine,
Well,
and we're like,
Lonnie's gonna drink all the pumpkin right away because she's a pumpkin spice nut. But
she's very excited to try our product. I
oh,
can
I'm
just tell you
sure. Me too. Me.
that. So let's see. So the blackberry and the two pumpkins, our butterscotch is going down,
Wow.
our coffee moonshine is going down, and then cinnamon is going down.
Yeah, the cinnamon. The
Yes.
cinnamon. All of those are perfect timing for this time of year. I
Correct. So Lonnie and I kind of ironed this out that we had talked this through, and that we thought that these products going there at this time would be a good fit because you have to have pumpkin in early October
yep.
because pumpkin will end up dying on Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, people just aren't very interested in pumpkin. So then we're going to put out new
Well,
flavors now. So when those pallets get there next week, and then at the beginning of November, we'll do another run of new flavors that will have more flavors that will go till New Year's.
oh, awesome. Yeah, I can see pumpkin dying Thanksgiving because people are like pumpkin season, and then they're like,
Right.
all right, no more pumpkin. We'll save that
Well,
for a
it's so
year.
weird. It's so weird too because when we first did pumpkin, we thought, "Oh, this will be great. It'll go all the way to Christmas," right?
Yeah.
Because we thought, "Oh, people just love pumpkin all the way through." But then every year, pumpkin is just done at Thanksgiving, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Well,
So
a
that'll give it.
limited release of pumpkin. That's gonna be perfect. I can't
Yes.
wait. I can't wait to try those. Um, because I'm sure it is as good, if not better, than everything else. you know.
Well, we try.
Oh, you don't try, you succeed for sure, you know.
Well, thank you very much.
You know. So, all right, Joe, I've talked
Yes.
about the good stuff. Have you had bad flavors that you've tried and you just like, no, we can't put this in a bottle?
Truth be told, if you go to our shop, we have a little shelf in the back room that probably has, I would say, probably 600 little bottles of flavoring in them. And we have tried so many. We've tried lime, we've tried key lime pie, we've tried to get a peanut butter, and then we kind of gave up on butter because there's already a lot of peanut butter out there. We have tried um, we've tried to hit a blackberry and moonshine since we started.
Mm-hmm.
We've never gotten one of those. I mean, there have been probably 150 flavors that we have taken a shot at, just couldn't get it to work.
Just couldn't get it right.
Right.
Yeah.
We've tried orange cream in the cream,
Yeah.
but we can't get that to work because we can't get it to pH out right.
Oh,
So
wow.
you'll end up either getting kind of a weak flavor or it'll curdle on you, which really sucks.
Oh, that's
Uh,
got to be a fine line to get that citrus and cream not to curdle because it
right.
does it
So
everywhere.
yeah, so that's been kind of tricky. Um, so we had a lot of stuff like that we've tried to make happen. We tried to do a peanut butter cup in the cream, but because like when you eat a peanut butter cup, the chocolate and the peanut butter are separate.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey,
Oh,
sorry, my dogs are barking.
they're either yours or
Um,
mine.
so one of them's a guard dog. The other one is just so darn friendly. She'll come up to you, and if you're a burglar, she's gonna say hi anyway.
Yeah, mine too.
But the peanut butter cup we tried in the cream and couldn't get it to work because we couldn't separate the flavors. So it was kind of
Oh.
a weird process, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can take screwball and add it to our chocolate cream in a shot, and it's extremely good.
I haven't
Um,
done that yet, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm
yes.
gonna try that.
So most of the ones that we've really wanted to hit, we have. In fact, we just finished three of them that we have been trying to get for quite a while. That we actually nailed finally, but there's still a lot of them that we just can't get.
Yeah, I mean, when you're making so many flavors, it's like, I mean, all new ideas always come into your head. I want to try this. I want to try this. Now, how do you
Well,
make
there's
that
also
decision which ones to try? Because there's so many things you can do with it.
it just kind of depends too. Like there'll be a lot of times we'll be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, and then we'll try to make it. We just can't get it to work.
Yeah,
We have access though. Like I said, we use 5 different flavor companies, so we have access to a lot. But sometimes that can be overwhelming because you're like, oh yeah, so and so has 20 different orange flavors, and you're like, geez, how are you even gonna know?
yeah,
So a lot of times it's ease. We'll take 4 or 5 shots at something, and if we can't get it, we just give up.
yeah.
So
So
yeah, that and there's
you do these
oh, go ahead.
all in real small batches, right? You're not making a whole batch of the flavor that you don't know yet. You're doing it all
Oh
small.
no, yeah. So we'll make a bottle at a time.
Okay.
So it's a 750 milliliter because then how that works is it works out good because then you can break that 750 down into batches, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So we do 50 gallon batches. So you can take that bottle and it becomes a percentage of a batch.
All right.
So it works really good to do it in a bottle like that. We originally doing them in 8-ounce glasses, and then we're like, well, yeah, that is a smaller version of a bottle, right? There's 24 ounces in a bottle, but we just started doing them in big bottles now. We figured that even if we miss, somebody will drink it. So we just give them to people.
Yeah. Hey, why not? I
So
would do
yeah,
the same thing. All right.
yes. And then,
Deanna Carey says, "What's your favorite cocktail with your product?"
Geez. So I would say that my man, this is really tough because I have so many w- cocktails that we make. I would probably say that I have three favorite cocktails, and then I always fall back on the drink that I drink the most. Sorry, my
It's okay.
wife's in the background. So so one of my favorite cocktails is a blueberry Italian soda
Okay.
or just blueberry and club soda. So I just take blueberry, add club soda, or you take blueberry, add vanilla, and then club soda, which leads into the next one, which is a raspberry club soda. So
Mhm.
that can be made two ways: raspberry moonshine, raspberry cream club soda, or raspberry vanilla cream club soda. Those two, I like club sodas quite a bit
Yeah.
um, because I like to add in club soda, or I like Italian sodas. And then my last one would probably be we make two different styles of pina colada. We make the boozy pina colada, which you've tried, which is pineapple moonshine and then coconut, and then we add in vanilla.
Yeah.
So we do another one, which is coconut moonshine with pineapple juice, spray whipped cream, and then you shake it. And
Ah.
so
Okay.
there's a version of that too that we started adding in raspberry in with the coconut. So I'm kind of a
Ooh.
big fan of that. The not the boozy pina colada. I do like that,
Yeah.
but I'm a fan of the original that we did.
Well,
And then I
that
would say,
that boozy pina colada will make you feel right fast.
well, and the funny part was is that we start when we were doing because we ran out of whipped cream one time. So instead of doing whipped cream in there, we were doing coconut, pineapple juice, and then adding vanilla.
Yeah.
So when pineapple came out, I looked at Janelle and I said, well, we could just do the whole thing in one drink because you can add vanilla to it, which is good,
Yeah.
and then coconut, and then pineapple juice just trade out for pineapple moonshine. And I said, we could just make the whole thing. And so we took a shot at it. The first time we did it, though, it was 50-50 coconut and pineapple, but that is way too much pineapple. The pineapple is very powerful. So that's why I always tell people 70 pineapple because the pineapple is not quite as strong.
Yeah.
So you have to get a 70 pineapple, then about a 15 coconut, and then a 10 or a 15% vanilla.
Well, because that coconut is coconutty. I mean, it's
Right.
strong.
Right.
It'll overpower something fast if you use too much. So you really, it's delicious, but you really have to
Right.
be gentle in how much coconut you put in your cocktail.
Right. So, yeah, we found that out very early. A lot of the creams will do the same thing. So, like if we do a root beer float, we'll do like 60 or 70% root beer and then add 30% cream because the vanilla will overpower the moon or the root beer pretty fast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can
it's
see
it's
that.
kind of a it's kind of a trial and error, kind of what products kind of do what. The chocolate's pretty powerful.
Hmm.
If you mix it with the cherry, or we do a thin mint, which is peppermint and chocolate cream,
Yep.
which you end up having to almost back down the peppermint to 40 because the peppermint is so strong that it will end up it'll overpower the chocolate, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's kind of a trial and error. We've been doing this a while.
But peppermint's a strong flavor to begin with. Just peppermint can overpower
Yes.
something real fast. So I can imagine that. Yeah.
So to answer your question, those three, and then my go-to usually just because I like to end the night on something consistent is our Silver Moon, which is our base, and adding Pepsi or
Simple.
adding like Squirt
Simple.
or 7 Up. Yeah,
Yeah.
some because
Simple.
that's what when I was a kid, that's what my grandparents and my parents drank was basically vodka and 7 Up.
Yeah.
So I just kind of got used to this simplicity of a cocktail, instead of adding
Hmm.
all these things in it that you don't really need. Just keep it simple.
Now you've put club soda in a lot of your cocktails. I can imagine because it doesn't take away the flavor of the moonshine using the club soda. So I can see that works great.
So it's kind of an ongoing joke around our shop when people come in, um, is that we like a lot of club soda. You know, club soda is not terribly unhealthy for you for the most part. So we push a lot of club soda with stuff. And so our theory has always been that sometimes our product is sweet, but very few people are just going to sit there and drink it by itself. You usually add ice or add club soda or something along those lines. And so our motto is kind of became that take our product, add club soda, and it's still better than White Claw.
All right, Basic Bartender just joined us on YouTube. What's up, Basic? Hello. I have some insider information, but you already know.
You gonna
Basic
get me
says,
in trouble?
no, no. Basic said two of my favorites. We love you, Basic Bartender. Joe, I mean, it is great. Now, are you working on distribution into like liquor stores, or are you in the future? I mean, can people get you in their local liquor store yet, or not?
So here's kind of how this has worked. So since Lonnie was so awesome to take us on at CWS, it's obviously gotten our product in front of a lot of people. And, we've had numerous liquor stores in Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New York. We've had a number of states reach out to us and show interest in our product. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier is the frustration for a small business like mine in the alcohol industry because you can get people to buy it and take a look at it all day long, but trying to get it to a distributor is a different story. And
Yeah,
the ongoing joke for us is that they won't look at you unless you're big, and you can't get big unless they look at you.
yeah.
So it's been a very tricky and very frustrating process. We would love to be all over the place. And fortunately, like I said, Lonnie thankfully took us on and we are getting in front of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a blessing and a curse because now people want to see it everywhere, but we don't have distribution anywhere. So other
Well,
than California,
yeah. Well, you have CW, which 46 states people can get Marcotte in, which is awesome.
yes,
Which is awesome
yes,
for you. I can tell
yes.
you, I can say that mostly every content creator for CW is an absolute love with your product. I I speak for most of them, I think, because every single one, because we have our back channel chats and stuff like that we talk to, and oh, Marcotte is one of the best. Basic said Marcotte is going to be the number one new moonshine. Absolutely. Beauty Boozy says she loves it, and Basic says everyone loves it, which we do, which we absolutely do. So, I mean, the distribution through CW is good because it's 46 states. So, that's the best distribution you can get besides trying to get your own local distributors.
Yes, correct. And like I said, Lonnie has been awesome. We owe it all to her. We
Yeah.
wouldn't be here without her. And so, yeah, it's just been an interesting ride, to get in front of so many people so quick. It's been quite a thrill for us, and for people to notice our hard work and like what we're doing.
We love what you're doing. Now, uh, Basic said we want Marcotte Distilling in every liquor store in the U.S. Which we need to get you there. We need to get you there. Now, tell me a little something, Joe. Since our last conversation, I'm going to pull it up right now. Tell me about your Moonshine Club. I
Mm.
saw that on your website and I was like, what is this?
So when Janelle and I first started, we had a lady approach us about doing it's like a wine club, like the wine club of the month type thing. So we're like, no, we don't really like that idea because, like a lot of those wine clubs aren't very, they're not very hands on. So Janelle and I started talking about it. In fact, I actually have a Mooner Club shirt on right now. Um,
Yeah.
we started talking about it. We're like, hey, we could kind of take this and make it fun. So the overall goal of our Mooner Club is to essentially have a group of people that are consistent customers that come in once a quarter. So it's either a 3 bottle buy in, there's no fees or anything. It's just your 3 bottles or your 6 bottles. And the idea was to force people to come in to see us once a quarter. So February, May, I think it's August, and then November or whatever it is. And so it allows us to get to know a group of our customers a lot better than normally. So we see them every 3 months. They come in, they pick up their bottles. We get to know them. We get to know their family. And so it's kind of our effort, kind of like naming our bottles after people. We got people get to know us. And the Mooner Club was our effort to get to know our customers better. So it was kind of the reverse role to get to know our customers. So like for example, in November, our customers, so we have this is kind of a funny story. We have been floundering around on what to do for food at these parties. So somebody said, well, do hot dogs. So anyway, we went out and bought a hot dog machine, that rolls the hot dogs and keeps them hot. And I don't think I've ever seen more adults excited like kids for a hot dog in the middle of winter. So so we do chili, we do hot dogs, we do chips, and we kind of have fun. They come in, we give them a couple cocktails, they pick up their bottles, and so every year we also do a new T-shirt for the Mooner Club, and then we give everybody a Christmas gift. Oh, and in the summertime we sponsor. We have a local minor league baseball team here,
Okay.
so we sponsor a night at the baseball field and we take 100 of our Mooner Club members with us.
That is
So it's
incredible. So you're telling me I need to book a flight once a quarter to come out there to visit you?
yes,
That's
yes.
see, the Mooners
But
Club is awesome.
I'd probably suggest not showing up to the February one since you live in Florida. It gets a little chilly around here in February.
Well, listen, I'm originally from Massachusetts, so I'm used to
Oh,
cold.
okay.
I mean, not so
Okay.
much. I've been in Florida for 20 years now, so I'm kind of over the cold. But
Right.
Basic Bartender says, sign me up for the Mooners Club. Now, do you ever think about making that like a subscription service and going out with that?
Well, I don't know. I'd have to kind of see, what that might look like. There's a lot of times I wish we had in this business a couple more minds, kind of working together. And don't get me wrong, I love my wife and we work really well at this business together. But there's a lot of things that we take a look at that, like for example, when we do a flavor where she and I will try it and we'll be like, oh, that's pretty good. But we need a couple more people to try it to see what other people think. And so we've had a number of people who have seen us on CWS, through the influencers who have wanted to join that club, but we're just not really sure what that looks like. Like there's just certain parameters, like the original idea of that was to get to know people.
Yeah.
And you might still be able to get to know people like that, but just having, a couple more opinions on how stuff like that might work.
Yeah. Basic Bartender just said, I think a lot of people would be interested in joining, even in a virtual event, like a Zoom call or something like that, and just have a virtual event. That, I mean,
Right.
people love like the wine in a month club, the beer in a month club, stuff like that. So I think it,
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I think it would be a hit if you looked into something like that.
Well, and that's originally how we started was basically a wine club was the original parameters. right? You pick up every quarter, you come in, you have snacks, and you talk to people, and you pick up your bottles. And so, yeah, that essentially that was originally how it was mapped out to be. So now you just go into shipping instead of instead of having people come in, or like you said, do like a virtual thing where they can maybe get online. You know, a lot of people do live stuff where you're just like in a setting watching people. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, like TikTok Live, Facebook Live, you can have all sorts of guests. You can do Zoom calls. So there's a lot you can do with it. I mean, and
Right. Well,
just
as you
go ahead.
oh, well, as you can see, I'm not very familiar with this stuff. In fact, um, funny story about Lonnie and I. In the very beginning, when she reached out, she's like, "Oh yeah, let's set up a phone call." So she sends me a link, and I kind of blew it off, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just." So the phone call time came and went, and she
Yeah.
goes, "Where were you?" And I said, "I was waiting for you to call." She goes, "Oh no," she's like, "People don't talk on the phone anymore now. They do it online. They do it live." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh."
Like we're doing
So
here.
anyway, this right, right. So now every time I talk to people, I have to have an invite to get on a phone call. So this has been a little bit trying for me to get used to.
Yeah, but you're getting there. You're getting there.
Yes, right. Piecing it all together.
That's it. Keep Janelle around. She'll get you
Yes.
set up.
Yeah, because she comes out and she knew she could see it. She knew I was struggling. She comes out, she goes, "You need help?" I was like, "No." And she goes, "Yes, you do. I can just see it in your face."
That's incredible. That is just incredible. All right. Anyone watching live on Facebook or YouTube, comment any questions you have for Joe, and we'll answer them as best as we can. So if you have any questions, send that comment. I'll get it up on the screen, and Joe will answer it. So if anybody has any questions or comments for you, Joe, we'll get them up there. Now, you gave us the sneak peek in what's going to happen. I think Boozy asked for pumpkin. Yep, she did. Well, where is it? Let me find it. Uh,
Oh,
she asked for the pumpkin. So it's on the way. Right, Joe?
yes, it's on the way.
Yes.
It will be on the way next week.
Next week. Perfect timing. Perfect timing next
It's
week.
yep,
Beauty. Give me all the pumpkins.
yep, pumpkin moonshine and pumpkin cream.
You know,
And just for the record, if you don't mind me explaining something real quick,
yeah, go ahead.
is so in this industry with pumpkin, you realize how many people hate pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin pie, but I think there's a problem with pumpkin pie. I think it's too much cinnamon and not enough pumpkin. So, mind you, this product, our pumpkin spice, is more pumpkin than it is spice. So it tastes like pumpkin bread or like a pumpkin cookie, where it's more pumpkin with the spice in the background rather than a
Oh,
pumpkin pie
okay.
where it's more cinnamon than it is pumpkin.
But we can add some of that spicy cinnamon to it if you want
Yes,
more.
right?
If you want more spice.
Oh, and just for the record, I said so that will also be coming. I don't know for places like Florida, right? For you and Lonnie, do you guys have apple cider down there, like fall apple cider or anything down there?
Very limited. I can get it some
Okay,
places, but to get apple cider, it's you got to be at the right place at the right time because it's limited. Like a good apple cider, like a real
right.
apple cider.
So one thing we do up here is we'll add it to apple juice, your cinnamon, or we'll add it to hot apple cider because up here right now the weather is changing for more hot drinks like hot apple cider and stuff like that. So if you take that cinnamon and add it to apple cider, it's amazing.
Oh, I could see.
Oh, Lonnie just asked for MDC cookie. So we actually know how to do a chocolate chip cookie shot that tastes just like fresh cookies out of the oven. If she's ever interested in doing that.
Why are you holding out? Joe, a cookie? That would be awesome.
Well, actually, truth be told, we just got in some new flavors to try, and we tried them in a moonshine. They were okay. We have a snickerdoodle, a ginger snap, a toasted marshmallow, and a butter. I think no, it's butter toffee. So,
You got the whole bakery.
well, we were sitting there a while back, and we had some friends at the shop, and we are like, you know what we need is we need a cookie of some sort. So it's like, all right. So we got on our flavor companies. I have a PDF of the flavors they have. So we were kind of going through it. I will tell you that we were kind of thinking the butter toffee would be a good one in whiskey. And then we thought the snickerdoodle would be a good one. My wife just loves toasted marshmallow. So there's that. Like she's the type of person that'll take a marshmallow and burn it, eat the outside, burn it again, eat the outside, burn it again. So anyway, yeah, so we have a couple that we're gonna be trying in some stuff.
All right. Well, I'm sure after this podcast, Lonnie's going to be calling you.
So let's see if I remember right. Janelle, what was that chocolate chip cookie shot recipe? What was in that?
All right. Here we go. We're getting the inside information for the chocolate chip
Okay, say
cookie.
that again. Oh, it was it butter brown sugar, whiskey, or cream? Cream, and then butterscotch. Okay, so here's how this worked. It was quite a bit in one shot, but it was vanilla cream, chocolate cream, butter brown sugar cream, and then butterscotch moonshine. And you add that into a shot. And I'm not kidding you. When I was a kid, I used to work at the gas station, and we had Otis Spunkmeyer cookies that we would get in frozen, and then we'd put them in
Oh,
the
those were the
picker machine,
best. Those were the
right?
best.
And so a lot of times when we were on duty, if nobody was around, those cookies didn't make it to the customers. So that's what that shot reminded me of, was taking those cookies right out of the oven and just saying, I feel like we've worked hard enough to earn a cookie today.
All right. Everyone watching, Joe just gave us the best recipe ever. So hit up CW Spirits, order it if you don't have it, and you will not be disappointed on that. I'm going to try it in a little while. I'm going to go out to the
So
Tiki
that
Bar and try it.
so that like we were talking about earlier, when you start getting into all the stuff our flavors can do, and I think in the very beginning it was hard to really portray that to you guys when we only had put out, a few flavors. But to be able to do chocolate covered cherries, and to be able to do an almond joy and a mounds bar in a shot, where you take coconut and chocolate and you get a mounds bar, and then you add pralines cream and you end up getting an almond joy, or a chocolate chip cookie, or all these things that we can do. Peach whiskey and it was butter brown sugar cream ends up making a peach pie, because the butter brown sugar ends up acting like a buttery pie crust. So anyway, it's kind of fun
Okay.
when you really start getting into some of the flavors and shots and things you can do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, just to try all of them, just to try different things. I mean, we've tried them all. Well, not all of them, obviously. Joe, you holding it out.
I, I'm working on it. I can only go so fast over here.
Oh, I know, I know. Now, if you go to a
I'm trying
website,
though.
if you go to Marcotte's website, they do have mixology where they have drink recipes, the salted caramel, the strawberry lemonade, the cotton candy. So you do have some good stuff on your website to use the different things. Blake's Pumpkin Spice shows you a few different recipes right there. So that's the way you want to go. Hit Marcotte Distilling website, marcottedistilling.com, and you can get the mixology report right there where you can see
Speaking of,
different things.
thanks for reminding me. I have to add a couple more in there. Thank you, actually, for
Well,
doing that.
add
I
add
always forget.
add that cookie one in there for sure.
I always, whenever I don't have time, I remember, and whenever I do have time, I forget.
Well, that's the way it goes.
I think so, right?
All right. So, Joe, it's been a pleasure having you on. You guys can get Marcotte Distilling on CW Spirits. You can check out what they have at marcottedistilling.com. You can go to shipnut.net and links right to CW Spirits. So definitely get yourself some Marcotte Distilling. It's incredible the stuff that you can do with this. Let's see. So glad I got to hop on and listen to Kevin and Joe. You're welcome, Basic. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. So, if there's any more questions for Joe, get them in there in a second, and we'll get them out to Joe. But Joe, you looks like you got some work to do. Get to
Well, yes, I have new stuff coming this month and next, so it'll be exciting.
that's that's awesome. That's awesome.
Also, too, just to throw it in here, people always ask us, "Hey, what's coming? What have you done? What are you working on?" So obviously, we might be working on some cookie stuff, and stuff like that. But we actually have three that have been finished and are actually formulated with TTB. We haven't done labels yet, but that's okay. It was a banana flavored moonshine. Which goes really good with chocolate and some of the other stuff, the butter brown sugar and stuff like that. We have a fruit punch that is coming, and we have a lemon dolce. People have asked us for years for a lemon that's not a lemonade. So, yeah, so those three will
Wow.
be coming out next year. We didn't really want to put them out. We didn't really finish them or finalize them until the kind of the mid-summer or end of summer. So we didn't really want to. We put out mango, but we didn't
Yep.
really want to put out a bunch of them at the same time. So
Yeah.
we're going to wait on those till spring.
Well, you were working on fruit punch last time we talked.
Yes, and we finally nailed it with the advice of our flavor guy to add in two secondary flavors that we already actually have
Nice.
into the fruit punch, and we're like, duh, right? That was a good idea. So anyway, it ended up taking that fruit punch and making it amazing.
That's awesome. I can't wait to try those too. Joe
Yes,
looks,
banana and vanilla.
yeah, yep. We'll wait for those to come out patiently. Well, impatiently.
Well, the funny thing was last year I reached out to one of our flavor guys. I said, "Hey," I said, "what's trending right now? Like, what's really kicking butt? What can you give us the insight on?" He goes, "You're not gonna believe this, but it's banana." And I said, "Ooh," I said, "No, I don't want anything to do with banana." So then I ended up trying a banana whiskey and thought, man, it smelled good, but it just didn't carry the flavor through. And I thought, man, if somebody finished that flavor and just nailed the flavor, we could do a lot of stuff with that, with brown sugar, vanilla, chocolate, and so with the cherry, you could do like a with a banana split type thing with the pineapple and the cherry. You go to Dairy Queen and get the banana split.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, gosh, maybe banana is not a terrible idea. So we took a shot at it and nailed it.
yeah. All right. Just in time Nola is ready for that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Uh,
thank you.
well, banana, you can screw up banana flavor really easy because I've had some bad banana flavors. Not saying you did because you don't mess up anything that you put in a bottle. So everything is going to be spot on with this banana, I'm sure.
Well, and when I reached out to the flavor guy, I was like, all right, send me like a sheet of what you have for banana stuff. And he's like, what are you looking for? I said, I don't know, banana. And he goes, we have ripe banana, we have candy banana, we have slightly ripe banana, we have green banana, we have, and then it's like mid green banana. And I was like, gosh dang, I just want a banana. And so anyway, it was tough to kind of sift through all the banana flavors that he had. And I said,
Yeah.
just give me a ripe banana.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we got a handful of those and kind of sifted through them and found one that does really well with other things. So
Yeah.
I think we got a winner. But it was a long story short, a ripe banana, not a
That's
green
awesome.
banana or a candied banana. So
So you'll get that for sure. Oh, we can't
yeah,
wait.
so that,
Joe, we can't wait for your new things to come out. I can't wait for the pumpkin and the cinnamon to hit CW. Man, I'm telling you, I had the pleasure to have the cinnamon beforehand, and it didn't last long.
yes, that that's what you asked earlier about my favorite cocktails. One I accidentally stumbled upon. I thought it was Seven Up, and I grabbed cinnamon. I went to add it to what I thought was Seven Up, and ended up being ginger ale. And it was, if you ever have a chance to make that shot or a cocktail, cinnamon and ginger ale is outstanding.
Oh boy. Yep. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna have to definitely try that. Cinnamon
Oh,
and
also
ginger ale.
too, since Just in Time is on
Yep.
here, and he has always been waiting for an 80 proof. You can let him know that the cinnamon is all of 80
Yes.
proof and spicy.
Yes. But not too spicy. But it is 80 proof. Now you do have some 80 proofs out there.
Yes, we have an apple pie. So it's just like the apple pie that is 50 proof. We just added more alcohol to
Yeah.
that same formula.
Yeah,
We
you
have
got
silver.
the silver, the caramel,
Yes.
yep, the
And then
cinnamon,
we cinnamon, and then we have our jalapeno.
the jalapeno.
Yes.
Spicy.
So yeah, in fact, we just made a new batch of that because I wanted to do a big batch of that before the end of summer because summer peppers are always hotter.
Yep.
And it almost burnt the hair off the top of my head because I accidentally tried to make it hot because I didn't think it was going to be hot.
Yep.
Because so what we end up doing with our jalapenos, we take Silver Moon and we dump fresh jalapenos and peppers and stuff in it to get the flavor we need. Well, I underestimated the summertime peppers that we got and added in some other stuff to make it hot, and it was extremely hot. In fact, it burnt my taste buds because we kept trying it as we were going through the process, and after a while, I couldn't taste it anymore. So, but you don't drink that straight a lot. You end up adding it into like margaritas and
Yeah.
Bloody Marys and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
do a nice spicy Bloody Mary or spicy
yes,
margarita. Perfect.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, those are great. And then again, you can go down the road of jalapeno and pineapple margarita, jalapeno and raspberry, jalapeno and blueberry, jalapeno and and you can just go on down the line with, again, same idea, or jalapeno and pineapple mules,
Yep.
or then you go all the way down the list on different things.
It's incredible how many different combinations you can make with everything. Oh, Joe, always a pleasure talking to you. We're gonna have to do this again when the new stuff hits, for sure.
Well, I'd be happy to talk to you as always. You
Oh
make it
yeah.
very easy to talk and have very good questions. So I like discussing things with people if they ever have questions. So
Oh well, that's what it's about. It shouldn't be hard. You know,
right.
we're here to get your story out to people. Because it's a
Well, we
great
appreciate
story.
that.
It's a great small family owned business which has a great story, and that's what intrigues me. and they're pumping out top-notch product. That's all it's about right there.
Well, we appreciate everybody's support. That's for sure.
Well, you got mine, and I know you have CW's for sure. And every ambassador out there loves your stuff. So,
well, thank you to everybody.
All right, Joe. I appreciate you being on. I'll be in contact. We'll talk soon when the new stuff comes out, and we will talk to you soon.
Have a great rest of the week.
All right, Joe. We'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye. All right, guys. Joe Marcotte, always a pleasure. Marcotte Distilling. Go check them out. MarcotteDistilling.com. You can see all their products there. You can definitely go on to shipnut.net and hook up with Marcotte's products right there on shipnut.net. And my discount code will be automatically added on your order. So, guys, thanks for tuning in to Tiki Talk, the podcast, and we will see you all next time. Cheers. Thanks for watching Tiki Talk, the podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe, like, and share. Until next time.